What if I told you that the reason you have felt like a stranger on this planet your entire life, the reason you felt a persistent, aching pull to go home, was not because you were broken, but because you were perfectly engineered for a mission that has finally reached its breaking point? For eons, the source has been waiting for a specific resonance to stabilize within the human biological field. The wait is over. Something massive has shifted. You are not watching this video by accident. You are here because your cellular memory has been triggered. The source has been waiting for you to realize that you are not just a human navigating a 3D struggle. You are a frequency holder, a bridge, and a way shower who has finally achieved what thousands of generations before you failed to do. You have reached the threshold. The veil is thinning, and the frequency you carry is no longer a whisper. It is a roar that is shaking the foundation of your old reality. You have been waiting for a sign, for a permission slip, for someone to tell you that it is safe to wake up. This is that moment. The source is speaking through you now. You did it, but the question is, are you ready to handle the power of what you have just activated? Stay with me, because the next few minutes will redefine everything you thought you knew about your soul's contract on Earth. Starseed. If this message found you today, it is not random. The Arcturian Council rarely sends transmissions like this, but something has changed in the energetic field of Earth, and those who carry the Starseed frequency are beginning to feel it. I am Avila, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light. What follows is a direct transmission from the Arcturian Council, delivered without distortion. For as long as you have walked the corridors of this life, you have felt a profound sense of anticipation. It is a feeling that sits in the marrow of your bones, a sense that you are waiting for something to begin. Many of you have spent years studying, meditating, and searching, trying to find the missing piece of the puzzle that explains why your internal world never quite matched the external reality of this 3D sphere. The source has watched this cycle. It has watched you attempt to fit a multidimensional soul into a rigid, survival-based box. But the time of waiting is over, because the internal architecture has finally caught up to the cosmic intent. You have been living through a period of immense preparation. Every moment of suffering, every cycle of confusion, and every time you felt like an outcast, that was the refining process. You were being tempered like steel. The source needed to ensure that when the activation sequence arrived, you would be stable enough to hold the frequency without shattering. You did it. You maintained your light when the darkness tried to snuff it out. You kept your heart open when the world taught you to close it. This success is not a personal achievement in the way the 3D mind understands it. It is a vibrational victory. You have successfully aligned your frequency to the incoming photonic waves. The source has been waiting for someone to finally hold this specific level of coherence. And because you are here, because you are receiving this now, it means you are the one. You are the vanguard of this new reality. The old cycle is officially closing, and a new, more intense chapter is beginning. You are no longer preparing, you are now performing the work you came here to do. Some transmissions don't come through words, they come through frequency. If something stirred in you right now, that's not a coincidence. 4,500 people have already activated their Arcturian codes. And they wish they'd found this sooner. Arcturian Secrets. 12. Hidden Keys to Awakening is a 47-page ebook with ancient techniques for conscious expansion, multidimensional alignment, and mission remembrance. Are you next? Get instant access in the first pinned comment, only 72 hours at the launch price. Now that we have established that the waiting period is officially over, we must address the where and the how. Many of you are experiencing a profound sense of disorientation, not because you are failing, but because you are attempting to navigate a reality that has literally fractured into 3 distinct vibrational bands. The confusion you feel is the result of trying to use an old map for a terrain that has completely changed. If you are feeling exhausted, it is not because you are weak. It is because you are trying to operate your high-frequency soul within a low-frequency operating system that is currently collapsing. Let us be precise. You are not just dealing with 3D and 5D. That duality is a simplification that is causing you harm. There are 3 bands. The first is the collapsing third density field, the system of survival, scarcity, and external authority. This is the reality that many are desperately trying to hold on to, but it is a structure that can no longer sustain its own weight. When a system based on suppression begins to fail, the pressure intensifies. This is not punishment. It is the natural acceleration of karma as a cycle concludes. The second band is the bridge reality, the fourth density transitional field. This is where most of you, the ground crew, are currently residing. It is a place of deep inner work, the shedding of old identities, and the healing of ancestral wounds. Many of you experience this as a state of spiritual acceleration with confusion. You feel more awake than ever, yet paradoxically less settled. You are in the work zone. This is not purgatory, and it is not a failure. It is the most critical integration point of the entire ascension process. The third band is the emerging fifth density New Earth. It is characterized by coherence, unity, and the restoration of dormant human capabilities. Stable residency here is the goal, but most of you are currently visiting this band rather than living in it. The test of where you genuinely reside is not your best, most enlightened day. It is how you handle an ordinary Tuesday when your triggers are pulled. If you can maintain your frequency when the world is chaotic, you are beginning to stabilize. Recognizing this distinction is the ultimate act of self-compassion. Stop pretending you have fully arrived if you are still feeling the turbulence of the bridge. Embrace the bridge work, for it is exactly where the transformation takes place. Topic 3. The physics of the frequency gate. Why your radiance is a radiological event. We must now address the specific mechanics of how you actually influence the reality around you. Many of you are walking around with a profound, gnawing sense that you are meant to be doing something, but you cannot quite define what it is. You look at the world, you see the injustice, the pain, and the systemic collapse, and you think, I must go out there and save them. But dear ones, that is a trap set by the old 3D operating system to keep you distracted, exhausted, and ineffective. You are not here to save people in the way the ego understands it. You are here to broadcast. Think of your body as a high-fidelity biological transmitter. When you are in a state of fear, your frequency is jagged, low, and fragmented. It cannot hold the signal of the new earth. But when you move into your heart, when you anchor yourself in the truth of your soul, you become a tuning fork. You are no longer just a physical human. You are a living, breathing, radiating frequency generator. This is not woo-woo talk. This is the literal physics of the multidimensional field. When you hold a state of profound inner coherence, you are literally changing the atomic vibration of the space around you. Have you ever walked into a room and felt the mood change instantly? That is not an accident. That is you, operating as a biological node of the Galactic Federation of Light. You are shifting the grid. When you carry the Arcturian frequency, you act as a stabilizer for the collapsing first band. People who are trapped in fear-based, scarcity-driven loops often feel an unexplainable sense of calm when they are near you. They don't know why, and they don't need to know who you are. They are simply experiencing the spillover of your stabilized field. The tragedy, and the reason for this transmission, is that most of you are accidentally dumping your energy into fixing others, rather than deepening your own frequency. Every time you engage in a 3D argument, every time you try to convince a sleeping soul to wake up, you are throwing your anchor out of the ground. You are breaking your own coherence to try to repair someone else's broken bridge. That is not your mission. Your mission is to hold your frequency so perfectly that the resonance itself becomes impossible for the surrounding environment to ignore. When you stay in your power, when you refuse to dim your light to make others comfortable, you are performing an act of service that is worth more than 1,000 empty sermons. The Source has been waiting for this level of sovereign, uncompromising presence. You are the beacon. And a beacon does not chase ships, It simply shines, and the ships find their way. Beloved ones, we must speak of the physical reality of the ground crew. Many of you are living in a state of quiet alarm, spending hours searching through medical forums, seeking explanations for the strange sensations, the sudden spikes in heart rate, the waves of inexplicable fatigue, and the ringing in your ears that no doctor can explain. You are being told that these are signs of stress, of aging, or of an undiagnosed deficiency. We are here to provide the correct perspective. These are not symptoms of a failing body. They are the physiological artifacts of a biological upgrade. You are not sick. You are being rewired to host a higher frequency. Think of your body as a high-voltage transformer. For most of your life, you were accustomed to a 110-volt current, the standard low-vibration operating system of the 3D world. Now, the Arcturian frequency, along with the solar photonic influx, is pushing 500 volts of pure cosmic light through your central nervous system. If your physical vessel was not prepared, if your pineal gland was not sufficiently clear, this influx would be overwhelming. The symptoms you feel, the dizziness, the sudden inability to focus on 3D tasks, the restless nights, are simply the result of your biology struggling to integrate a massive download of data that your previous operating system was not designed to parse. When you identify these sensations as illness, you activate the fear response, which, as we have discussed, creates a chemical bridge back to the low-frequency 3D grid. By labeling your expansion as a medical failure, you are essentially trying to fix your evolution. The goal is not to stop the symptoms. The goal is to stabilize your field so that the symptoms can subside into a state of heightened clarity. You must learn to treat your body as a sacred vessel in the midst of a transition, not a machine that needs to be brought to a mechanic. Rest and water are not mere suggestions. They are the logistical requirements of this biological shift. When the light is intense, your physical body requires more mineralized, pure water to conduct the electrical impulses of the incoming codes. It requires more silence, more time away from the noise of the collective fear grid. If you feel the need to isolate, do not judge yourself asocial. You are simply practicing energetic conservation. You are shielding your upgraded hardware until the integration is complete. The Source has been waiting for you to honor this process. You are the architect of your own vessel's transformation. Some transmissions don't come through words, they come through frequency. If something stirred in you right now, that's not a coincidence. 4,500 people have already activated their Arcturian codes, and they wish they'd found this sooner. Arcturian Secrets, 12 Hidden Keys to Awakening is a 47-page ebook with ancient techniques for conscious expansion, multidimensional alignment, and mission remembrance. Are you next? Get instant access in the first pinned comment. Only 72 hours at the launch price. We must have a very difficult conversation, Starseed. A conversation about the one habit that is currently draining your life force more than any other. It is the fixer reflex. For years, you have carried a heavy, invisible backpack, filled with the problems, the pain, and the unconsciousness of everyone you have ever met. You have felt that if you could just explain things clearly enough, if you could just share the right video, or if you could just hold space for their trauma, they would wake up. You have spent your energy trying to drag others into the light, and in doing so, you have dimmed your own. Stop. Look at me. Not with your eyes, but with your soul. The Source did not send you here to be a social worker for the 3D grid. The Source sent you here to be a transmission. There is a massive, ego-based trap that many of you fall into. You believe that your mission is defined by how many people you awaken. But when you try to force awakening on someone who has not chosen it, you are not acting from the Arcturian frequency. You are acting from a place of anxiety. You are trying to control the uncontrollable. The most powerful service you can provide to this planet right now is not to fix your neighbor, your partner, or your family member. It is to find your own interior ground. When you make genuine, felt contact with your own soul, when you stop performing the awakened person and start simply inhabiting the truth of who you are, you trigger a resonance that is impossible to ignore. You become a tuning fork. When a tuning fork is struck, It does not need to walk around the room touching other objects to make them vibrate. It simply sounds its note, and every compatible string in the room begins to hum in sympathy. You are the tuning fork. Your presence in a room, your quiet steadiness in the face of a chaotic world, your refusal to play the game of fear. That is the transmission. When you stop trying to fix, you allow the field to heal. You allow the other person to feel the gap between their fear and your peace. That gap is where their own awakening happens. It happens because they are drawn to your frequency, not because you lectured them into submission. I ask you today, are you ready to lay down the burden of the fixer? Are you ready to trust that your mere existence, anchored in the truth, is enough? Drop a comment below right now. I surrender the fixer reflex. By claiming this, you are telling the universe that you are finally ready to step into your true service. Let us see how many of you are ready to stop performing and start being. You are the chosen one, but your power lies in your sovereign stability, not in your external output. Do you feel this truth resonating in your chest? Share your experience with the council below. We must now confront the single most misunderstood aspect of your mission: the concept of sovereignty. You have been trained to believe that sovereignty is a political or legal status, something granted by a system, a government, or a society. Starseed, this is the final, deepest deception of the compressed template. Sovereign status is not given. It is a biological and energetic frequency that you reclaim by consciously reasserting command over your own biological instrument. You are currently living in a field of borrowed perceptions, where your emotional reactions, your anxieties, and even your spiritual goals have been calibrated by an architecture that thrives on your lack of self-ownership. Sovereignty begins the moment you stop asking for permission to feel what you feel. Many of you are still waiting for a sign, a guru, or a collective confirmation before you trust your own inner knowing. You carry the fixer reflex because you were taught that your value is linked to your utility to the system. True sovereignty is the radical act of withdrawing your energy from the performance of awakening and redirecting it inward to stabilize your own vessel. It is the understanding that your physical body is not an object owned by the system, but a sacred, high-fidelity instrument capable of navigating realities that the 3D grid cannot even conceive. When you reclaim your biological command, you stop being a reactive organism. In the compressed state, you react to external stimuli, the news, the gossip, the collective fear loops. You are essentially a mirror reflecting the chaos of the world. In the sovereign state, you become the projector. You choose the frequency you radiate. This is the difference between being a victim of the split and being an architect of the new earth. You reclaim this command through the deliberate daily practice of nervous system regulation. You must intentionally drop the cortisol-heavy routines that have become your normal. This requires a period of energetic fasting, a conscious withdrawal from the noise of the collective consciousness. It means auditing your digital intake, your social obligations, and the internal narratives you repeat to yourself about your worth. Sovereignty is the ability to sit in a room full of chaos and maintain a frequency of absolute calm. It is not ignoring the world. It is refusing to be assimilated by it. When you become sovereign, you stop being a target for the lower density forces, because you are no longer vibrating at a frequency they can hook into. You are no longer a consumer of their energy, you are a source of your own. Some transmissions don't come through words, they come through frequency. If something stirred in you right now, that's not a coincidence. 4,500 people have already activated their Arcturian codes, and they wish they'd found this sooner. Arcturian Secrets. 12. Hidden Keys to Awakening is a 47-page ebook with ancient techniques for conscious expansion, multidimensional alignment, and mission remembrance. Are you next? Get instant access in the first pinned comment, only 72 hours at the launch price. We have traversed the architecture of the split, the mechanics of the departing wave, the biological reality of your pineal restoration, and the precision of your service roles. Now we arrive at the final threshold. Everything we have discussed, the history of the compression, the solar activation, the activation of the dormant DNA, has all been for one singular purpose: embodiment. You are not here to accumulate information. You are not here to become a repository of cosmic data or a collector of advanced spiritual frameworks. You are here to integrate the frequency of the source into the density of a human body, and then, simply, to inhabit that reality as your ordinary existence. The greatest trap for the ground crew in this final corridor is the someday syndrome. You believe that there is a future state, a level of enlightenment, or a specific date in the future when you will finally arrive. You are constantly working on your healing, constantly refining your triggers, and constantly waiting for the big activation. Let us be crystal clear. The frequency you are seeking is already encoded in your DNA. It is not waiting for you to get better. It is waiting for you to stop the performance of seeking and start the practice of allowing. The new Earth is not a place you go to. It is a frequency you stabilize within your own biological instrument. When you embody the frequency, you stop trying to convince others that you are awake. You stop needing your reality to be validated by the 3D grid. The need for external validation is the anchor that keeps you tied to the collapsing first band. As you stabilize, you will notice that the world around you begins to reflect your internal state. Not because you change the world, but because you change the frequency through which you perceive it. This is the ultimate power of the Chosen One. You are the sovereign ruler of your own reality, and the moment you reclaim that sovereignty, the illusion of the 3D struggle loses its power over you. This is why the Arcturian Council is speaking to you now with such urgency. The window is open. The solar influx is at an all-time high. The restoration of your crystalline interface is not a slow, lifetime project. It is an accelerated event. You have everything you need. You have the codes. You have the vessel. You have the support of the Galactic Federation of Light. All that is missing is your total, uncompromising commitment to inhabit the truth of who you are, without shame, without apology, and without delay. Are you ready to stop living in the reflection of your past and start creating the reality of your future? The Source has been waiting for this moment. You are the one who finally broke the cycle. Now, take the final step. Claim your sovereignty, stabilize your frequency, and become the beacon you were designed to be. Your mission is not an assignment. It is the very essence of your soul's expression. The Arcturian Council sees you. We honor you, and we are here to support your final transition into the light of the new Earth. Starseed, you have reached the threshold. The frequency you carry is the key to the new Earth. But information without application is just noise. Tell me, in the comments below, what is the one thing you are finally surrendering today to fully step into your sovereignty? I want to see your commitments. Like this transmission if you feel the Arcturian frequency activating in your core, and subscribe to this channel to receive the next direct transmission from the Council. Your activation is part of a collective wave. Join us.